Hi. You guys are so quick. How are you so quick? Did I not get a cup of water? I wanted water. I guess I didn't grab it. 1 second.
You're a little cocksucking, butt-fucking little faggot. And you know you are. If I caught you on the street, I'd slap you.
Alright guys, let's check out my voicemails.
You're a little cocksucking, butt-fucking little faggot.
Why are you fantasizing about me, sir?
And you know you are. If I caught you on the street, I'd slap you like
I don't like it
a
rough.
fucking little woman bitch.
Bro, you sound like you are yet to cross over the Rainbow Bridge, but you're really staring at it.
You little rope-smoking, cornholing,
Oh my goodness.
little wannabe. Dude, you need to shut the fuck up before somebody's gonna hurt you. I'm
hurt my
not
heart,
gonna
baby.
do it. I will not. But somebody's gonna fuck you up. You're going too far, bitch.
Is that what you do when someone disagrees with you? Oh no! Oh no! When someone disagrees, you gotta start crying and whining and threatening people because you're a little baby boy.
You're just a punk kid. What do you know? Nothing.
Dude, that was pretty dramatic at the end there. You're just a punk kid. What do you know, comma. Wait, you're just a punk kid, comma. What do you know, comma, ... Nothing. Very dramatic, very sassy, very gay. Thank you for the comment. Shout out to the Trumpers. Please drop a like, repost this video, and follow my page. Thank you. I love getting call-ins from my fans. Shit. Can you not? Hi. Okay. Thank you for nothing, dude. Thank you for freaking nothing. God.
Is good. We should, if we believe, although it seems like you don't believe in a republic form of government, do you?
No, I think a republic form of government, this is my opinion.
So this is a Pisco liberal lawyer debating on Tim Pool's show. Two Christian nationalists, also white nationalists, I assume, white nationalists. I know this person. I've seen him on TikTok talking about why women should not vote, why women should not be able to vote. So yeah, I want to see what they're talking about here, about the Constitution.
A constitutional republic would be, in my assessment, I've said this publicly many times, the ideal form of government. However, forms of governments have to be suited for the people of that time.
Now, he's probably going to say it's a good government, but only if certain people are allowed to participate and make decisions.
We don't have the people, right? A moral and upstanding, religious people. The Constitution is wholly fit for none other. We don't have those people. So I would say we currently have degenerates, and degenerates, men must be governed, to quote Master and Commander.
I will say, I think the mere notion that national...
So, like, he's an authoritarian, and basically, if there's any imperfections he doesn't like, which is going to be always existing, these types never say there's not degenerates. There's always degenerates that need controlling. He's advocating for a full theocracy. Awesome, dude.
Art is considered in any context, shows that society is breaking down.
Yes.
There's a wait, stop.
Wait, what did he just say? Sorry.
Be governed, to quote Master and Commander.
I will say, I think the mere notion that National Guard is considered in any context shows that society is breaking down.
Yes.
There's Wade Stotts had a really great video. Is that his name, Wade Stotts?
Yes. Yeah, Wade Stotts.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. He had a video where he basically talked about how the point at which you need to write down your Constitution to enforce it is when you're cooked.
What are you
That was a
talking
great-
about?
No, this is Joseph de Maistre's principle,
was a
right?
good-
All constitutions are preceded by the
Bro, go back to your damn country,
morality
bro. Don't
and the
talk about
ideas
my
written in the hearts and
constitution.
minds of the men that wrote them. And so over generations, because the you outsource the enforcement of morality to the document itself, and so the people to which the Constitution applies no longer believe in the ethic of the Constitution, and so they just start squabbling about how they can circumnavigate the statutes.
Should we follow it? I mean, I don't.
Let me just kind of explain what this means.
Yeah.
The question asked is, what does Constitution refer to? What the Constitution before the United States typically was unwritten. So the UK, I believe you have an unwritten Constitution. Is that how you guys describe it?
Yes.
Meaning that there are general ideas of what should or should not be. The founding fathers were like, we'll have an unwritten Constitution too. And then there was the debate over, no, hold on a minute, because you're going to violate our rights because we don't agree. The issue was that the states were each individual and sovereign.
So I never want to hear about
here's the
Russia.
point.
I never want to hear about
Let me-
search warrants
I
and
can
stuff like
finish.
that from you guys.
The point is, philosophically, the argument is, when you get to a point where you need to deploy a federalized police force because the views of how the country is supposed to be running is different, i.e., Donald Trump says no illegal immigration, Democrats say...
Wait, no, but you are manufacturing that crisis. You're manufacturing a crisis to justify authoritarianism. There's no reason right now we need the National Guard to be dealing with crime in America or immigration in America. It's completely manufactured as a dramatic issue right now. Dramatic, we need to send the military in right now and suspend the damn Constitution. They are causing
Yes,
this.
illegal immigration.
Right.
Democrats say you can't enforce this law in our state. We'll object it. And Donald Trump
No
says
one
I
trusts
can.
the Constitution
and then
anymore.
the
Yeah, because of
interpretation
you,
of the
because you
Constitution
told
as
them not
written
to.
is completely different among these two groups.
So what would it take for you to
Joe
do?
Biden
Yeah, that's why you have debates and you have a Congress. That's why two groups have different opinions.
removing the razor wire, against Abbott, or things like that. Like it's just the opposite.
Let's not get into that. There are reasons for that as well, and it has to do with the fact that you have to follow the law in terms of the Immigration Nationality Act. You can't. You have to process these people. You have to apprehend them, and you have to put them to immigration.
But the
let's
point you
move
need
past
to-
that and just,
right, so let me make this point.
What would it take for you to say to Trump, this is bad, that your deployment in Chicago is bad? What would it take? What kind of thing would he have to do with the National Guard in Chicago for you to?
That's an open-ended question with a million out.
Yeah. So like, if it's not enough for him to break the law, and you would not
A
condemn him
National
for that.
Guardsman is caught jacking off on the corner of 47th.
No, but that's individual guard. I'm just saying the deployment itself.
A battalion caught jacking off.
The deployment itself.
altogether.
Trump could say,
Like, oh my God, Trump, what's going on? It's bad.
Trump could say, I want to deploy the Marines in every major city in this country to stop crime, and you would be in support of that, wouldn't you?
What is the?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's kind of a vague generality. I don't
It's
understand.
not vague at all. I'm giving you something concrete. The same kind of deployments in LA.
Listen.
And
Let's
in
not have
DC.
kindergarten questions.
It's not kindergarten at all. I mean,
It certainly is.
There's no limiting principle here. You're going to.
If there were mass riots across the country in every major city, and Trump said the local police have failed to enforce this, I'm deploying the military, I'd say, okay.
No, not you yourself said this isn't some punctuated crime wave in Chicago. You said that at the start, right?
What? I didn't say punctuated.
No. What I mean to say, you said we're not seeing some massive crime wave in Chicago that we've never seen before. You said that, right?
No.
What did you say at the beginning then when you were saying that Chicago, it's not like the apocalypse in Chicago?
I was saying that 1,000 years ago, when you lived in the woods, a bear would come and eat your wife.
That's
And
what you were
so-
saying? You
Yes.
weren't saying that Chicago had like.
I'm saying that
is
system-
Yeah, to be fair, for Tim Pool, he was making a very dumb point. And Pisco assumes that Tim Pool said, well, things are not a dramatic crisis right now that we need to bring in the damn military. Things can be bad, but they're better than they were before, as in 30 years ago, which is very true. Someone said in chat, should women be able to vote? Yet Jola and his following idiots support countries such as Afghanistan, Nigeria, Egypt, Sudan, Somalia. I guarantee you, if we go down our policy list, you would agree more with the policies of Afghanistan towards women and Nigeria and Egypt. You'd agree with them more than you'd agree with California. I'd almost guarantee it.
That it's that the
I'm
city's
saying that
livable?
it is obvious to anyone who can read a history book that life is better today than it was 1,000 years ago. That doesn't mean we should tolerate 800
30 years
deaths per
ago.
year.
So as they currently are, as the states and cities currently are,
We want to be a more perfect union.
as they currently are, you would not have a problem with Trump deploying the Marines, the military, the National Guard,
Toward
all
what
over
end?
The question I want to see them ask, okay, for Pisco, next time he does a debate like this, I want to see him ask, if everybody had their own personal FBI agent and their own personal drone to follow them, and we could stop all crime, would you do that? Would you allow the military to do whatever they want? Can they come into your house? Can they surveil you? Can they detain you to make sure? Can they stop and frisk every single person with no cause, with no process at all? Would you bypass all of your rights to go to zero crime? And when they say no, you tell them, oh, so you love crime. You don't want to stop crime. You just love crime, and that's why you don't want to have the Big Brother AI telebot following you. Because that's the argument they make here. If you're against the military being deployed, into these cities by the federal government, then therefore you're pro-crime. That's the argument conservatives make. Okay, conservatives make that argument. So we should walk them down the same path and have them say, well, there is a limit. I don't want an FBI agent following me everywhere. The FBI agent should F off. He should not follow me everywhere. We should have rights under our Constitution. Make them answer that question, because they that's what they do to the left. Anytime we disagree, they're little babies. They can't have a nuanced disagreement. It's like, oh, you're pro-crime, aren't you? Like, no, dipshit. I'm having a conversation with Nuance to talk about how we can make this country better. Not like you, just stay in the military, I'm scared. Like, shut up.
The purpose of lowering the crime rate.
In what circumstance?
All across the country, right?
In what circumstance? Where?
So,
For the
I just
purpose
told
of
you.
lowering crime?
Didn't I just tell you? All
You're right, Kelly. They won't answer it. They will never answer it.
over
You're
the
right.
country for the purpose of lowering crime.
You're asking me.
Deploying the military.
You're asking me if I would be okay with total federalization of law enforcement across the country.
And putting the military,
Okay, that's a good question. Okay.
Marines.
Yeah, the answer is no. I'm
Army.
not okay with it.
Why not?
I've literally argued
Why
against
not?
the federalization of police forces.
No. Say he's pro-crime. Say he's pro-crime, Pisco. Say he's pro-crime.
Why would you be against that?
Because he's pro-crime. Just say he's pro-crime. Conservatives, put a narrative on you. Put a narrative on them. Okay, say you're pro-crime. And throw the hypocrisy in their face. Make them feel the hypocrisy. Make them experience it fully. Don't ask a good faith question back to them. They would never do that for you.
We have
And I know I'm being nitpicky here, but still.
sovereign jurisdictions. The purpose of a republic.
Yeah. They'll say, conservatives will say, oh, you don't want to kill all immigrants? You must be happy Laken Riley died. You must be happy. Isn't that disgusting? They'll say that. I'm not saying go that far, but yeah, counter message. Force them into a narrative.
Is that where you grew up in rural Utah, you have different circumstances than someone who lives in D.C. The problem is Democrats tend to operate in the inverse, such as West Virginia, in the rural parts of West Virginia. The Democrats are trying to ban federally the right to transfer firearms among for private sales.
Can you stick to the issue? Why would you
Yes.
be against it? Yeah,
So,
different states have
I
different
love how when
circumstances.
when I'm answering your question, you don't like the
No, but
answer.
you're like,
Oh, now Tim Pool's taking a cop out from the conversation. Oh my God, they're such babies, bro. All Pisco said was answer the damn question, and now he's gonna be a little whiny bitch.
You changed
Holy
the
shit!
subject.
you're monologuing about yes, there are differences between states and sovereign jurisdictions.
So I said I would not be okay with the total federalization of policing. You then asked me why, and I said, and let me finish now, because Jim Bob and Ricky Joe,
Jim Bob.
who live 2 hours from each other in the mountains of West Virginia, are living in completely different circumstances to Washington, D.C. So the federalization of police force under the Democrat laws of gun control infringes upon the rights of two guys who live in the boonies who have
in
to
the sovereign
shoot
interest
wild
of West
bears.
Virginia, doesn't it? In the sovereign interest of these states. These states are separate sovereigns, and you're saying that you
Literally the
respect.
point.
Yeah, you respect the sovereignty there. Why is
So the
that?
total federalization of policing is bad. Yes, agreed.
But so would be the not just federalization of their police force, but deploying the Marines and the Army on the streets of every single state. You would be against that too. 'Cause
The
that would
universal mass federalization of law enforcement in this country is a bad thing when done without any justifiable reason. Agreed.
Okay,
What's your point?
Okay, but then the current
So
rationale.
You're saying sending 80 National Guard into Chicago, just Chicago, because of the high rate of death is very different from the total federalization of all law
no.
enforcement.
But what I'm saying here.
But if he does it, okay, I think Pisco's gonna say, like, for example, if he does it there, then he can do it anywhere. If you're saying that the president himself can just say, versus the wishes of Chicago, versus the wishes of Illinois, he can just say, no, we're gonna send in the military when we want to. We're gonna seize maybe voting ballots at some point, voting machines, because Trump wanted to do that in 2020. Don't bring up that part. But like, if Pisco is probably gonna say right here, like, he can do it everywhere then.
Here is.
Trump has the legal authority to do it, and we have the Insurrection Act of 1807 and 1870.
Why does it matter that he has?
I'm sorry, not
why does it matter that he has legal authority
I always say it's illegal to shit your pants too. Doesn't mean you should shit your
to
pants.
do it? I don't think he does.
You made that point, and I'm agreeing with you.
That he doesn't.
No. That there are legal authorities by which Trump can do this, and even in that circumstance, I don't think it's universally good.
In
Just because I
wartime,
say that
at
there's
the most extreme
some circumstances
interpretations.
in which it would be okay to federalize National Guard doesn't
If
mean
we
that I
had a
said that it
civil
was
war,
legal in this
Why are
context.
you- why are
we were
you, like-
invaded by China.
Let me ask you a question about your Christian nationalism. So, if
Tim Pool. Tim running away from the conversation. Oh no. Federalizing, don't federalize, back and forth. And by the way, let me ask you a question about your Christian nationalism. What a dumb cop out, bro.
If like a group of priests went around with machetes mercilessly murdering people all across the country all the time, you'd be in favor of that?
Dude.
Well, of course not.
No.
No one argued in favor of what you're asking.
So I did not say, would you be in favor of the National Guard, like shooting people? I didn't say, would you be in favor of
I was making a point about an extreme position.
It's not extreme at all. So
for the
Trump
purpose
himself,
of illustrating, no one here has argued for the total nationalization
it's crazy, man.
of
So
policing.
I used to be a bartender, and I would talk to these military, and we were in a military type town, and every time I would talk to these vets and these former and sometimes active service people, they would say the one thing that we're taught all the time: you don't deploy at home. We don't have standing armies at home. And everyone I talked to would say, we're very proud of that tradition. We don't interfere in domestic civilian affairs.
Thank you for the anecdote. How would you like to hear my anecdote
all I'm trying to say is, you guys think that it's like no big deal. It's no big deal to deploy the National Guard.
It is a big deal. It is a big deal. And what we have happening in major cities in America right
now, it's good because this guy will expose the true position that Tim Pool dances around. Because Tim Pool dances around it because his audience is stupid enough to think he's a moderate. But this guy will just say it,
now,
I'm pretty sure.
with the crime rate is a big deal. It merits it.
And it's violating the law, a big deal.
It merits it because I said so.
On that, just to understand, is the reason you're against it because it violates the law?
That's one of the reasons. Yeah.
Okay, right. So, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to try and accurately characterize your position. The law, you see it as a neutral arbiter.
Now, again, the FBI agent following you argument or something similar that I brought up, I think it'd be much better for this conversation. A legality argument. I know Pisco's a lawyer, but he needs to practice his narratives and his propaganda. Because, propaganda in a good sense and a positive sense, but you need to do something illustrative that evokes an image of in their brains to develop heuristics for the audience to say oh well, this is what they really mean. They don't mean federalizing a vague, amorphous, guardsman unit or whatever. You're talking about should the government be able to bypass all laws if they say you are a threat with no holds on anything. Something to describe that for people who don't care about laws that much, who just care about it in a sense of do I think this is a good idea or not? I don't care about laws. You need to give something to them, I think, in this scenario.
That can. Okay, you're shaking your head.
No, I don't know what you mean by neutral arbiter.
As in,
now he almost got Tim Pool. And Tim Pool ran away from it.
It's a set.
And Tim Pool is 3-on, and Pisco's 3-on-1 right now. He is 3-on-1. And when they talk, these idiots are. It's I compare it to CTE. If you're hearing a conservative debate you have to go through this whole line of people tackling you. Your brain's getting knocked around, and then after it, you need to make the same point again, and stick to a point. It's very hard with people screaming in your ears. It's all nonsense. It's really hard to stay focused. So yeah, considering it's 3v1.
Of rules that keeps the peace that sits atop different
pesky facts.
Groups' conceptions.
Facts hold back your propaganda.
I largely think that characterization is okay.
Okay, yeah. I'm not trying to. I'm literally not trying to strawman you. The law itself, though, would you not agree, rests on a set of culturally particular givens?
No doubt.
Okay, right. If those circumstances have changed, would it not require a change in the law or a change in the application of law to restore those circumstances?
Potentially. I think that sometimes cultural differences, changed attitudes, changed ethical outlooks justify changes in the law.
Okay, so the well-regulation of a militia, the allowance of each state to govern itself, thinking its police force would act in the interests of its own citizens with different geographical particularities. That was fine for a settlement for a few hundred years. You had problems, of course. You had the Civil War, etc. Sure. You had the confiscation of firearms, as Tim said. But broadly, you could return to source. Do you not see in certain places like Chicago, like LA, where civilization has just broken down to violence, that a more forceful application of the law would be temporarily necessary in order to restore order? A bit like in the Roman Republic when you
restore
had
order.
A Caesar figure like Cincinnatus.
Yes, the Roman Republic. Yes.
That was maced.
He was very good.
Yeah. So basically you're asking me, would I be in favor of legal changes to the law to make this
a temporary centralization of
power?
But
what if we let's have a temporary dictatorship to get things under control, guys. Let's have a temporary centralization of power, temporary dictatorship. What can go wrong? Dude, I'll be dictator for a couple days, all right? Dude, the fact Trump made that argument, bro, I want to be dictator for a couple days, I'll fix everything, and I'll give the democracy back to you, okay? Just make me dictator for a few days, make me dictator, give me ultimate power, I will willingly give it up. All right, guys? I'll take care of all the problems, I'm magic, I'm amazing, and I'll just give it back to you. there's never been a novel or a retelling of like any history. There's been no storytelling. There's been no anything that would ever say that America would fall to something so damn stupid, bro. Imagine the founding fathers reading that America fell because the reality TV star who was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, a child sex trafficker, became president under the argument, let me be a dictator for just a couple days, guys. I promise I'll fix everything. And then I'll give it right back to you. Trust me. Imagine if they would, bro.
Then recreate the conditions where self-governance is possible again.
The answer is no. I don't think that the military is suited for regular civilian deployments, because I think that they're essentially, they have a lot of different interests. I think they're very honorable, but they're murder machines. They're trained to be killers.
That's not correct.
Hang on.
That's
That's not a good argument. Not a good argument. Not a good argument. Terrible argument. Terrible argument. Terrible argument. Terrible argument. Terrible argument. Terrible. But you walked into a trap. Terrible argument. Terrible argument, dude. You can't. That's bad. You can't do that. You can't just say like, oh, they're killing machines. They can't. Dude, it's not true for National Guard. It's not true for some Marine forces. Like it's just a bad way to phrase it, even if it were true. It's just, oh god, dude. Bad way. Bad. I'm sorry.
Combat infantry.
People like the regulars in the military, they're trained to kill. They're not trained in the same
what do you mean by regulars in the military? What do you mean by regulars in the military?
way that we train ourselves.
Like, a dude I knew who did IT work for the military wasn't a killer.
No, you know what I'm talking
He was
about.
physically fit. Let's be real.
And then you have to go back to, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Pisco just took a huge hit. Holy crap. This is what happens when you are fact-based, okay, in your arguments. You don't have a narrative. You don't think about how to frame it. And then there's a topic you don't know much about, so you just kind of say something that sounds, yeah, I don't know. Not good.
PT.
No, I understand the
They're
point
being
he's making.
trained. They are being trained for combat.
Yeah, they're
scenarios.
trained for
They're
force.
They're being trained to.
And
they're
this
not
is a
being trained-
situation where force
No,
is
but-
required. That doesn't mean that they're unhinged or.
I'm not saying no. I'm literally.
Now, what you should lead with, okay, to do good propaganda here, and again, propaganda in a positive sense, would be, well, we trust local law enforcement, okay? If you want to fund police more, focus on community safety. They are from the communities. They are of the community. They are held accountable by their communities. There's a trust developed there. Our police departments are pretty militarized already, and these are people that know the areas they're serving. We should be supporting them. We should not say the federal government's going to come in and say, we know better than you do. We know better than the voters here do. We know better than the people do. We know better than the police here. We should be putting more into local resources. That's probably the argument. One of the arguments that I would say that way before I would say, oh, they're murder machines. It just... And say that, like, for the military to be brought in, if you want to lose trust in our law enforcement and everything, like, it takes huge circumstances. So, like, civil wars, like world wars, like, yeah.
Just want to make sure.
I got to clarify this. What percentage of the military do you think are actually combat infantry?
I'm not sure. It doesn't matter, because the people who are being deployed are combat infantry right now.
That's fair. They're not going to deploy the IT guy on the street corner, right?
Okay, so let's just clarify when you're like, the army itself is...
The people who are being deployed, the regulars who are being deployed right now.
They're combat.
They're combat people. I'm not saying that they're mindless machines. I'm not saying that they're... But they have
You said they're murder. Did you say murder machines?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Listen,
Pisco's fighting his way out of this right
Killing
now.
machines
He's trying to get
still
out
would
of
have been
it.
wrong. You went straight for murder machines.
They have greater
Yeah,
trigger
he took
discipline
a-
than your average police
yeah.
officer.
I am not telling you that there's anything
Accuracy.
wrong with that, right?
Especially
I
female
want,
police
like
officers.
Kamala Harris said, I want our military to be the most lethal fighting force. Don't you?
You like Kamala Harris?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with you.
Now he brings up a Kamala quote. He brings up a Kamala quote saying we should be the most lethal fighting force. Dude, that's not... Oh... Oh, no.
Can we not? She's way better than Trump. Way better than Trump.
Oh, no. Well, at least they forgot about the other dumb quote, but this is just not working out.
He's been on the show multiple times.
The last hour, I've just disregarded everything.
love
you
him.
said.
Wait,
I can't accuse you of being biased. I mean, that's impressive.
can you just address it? Right. So you want, don't you, your combat infantry to be
Yes,
murder machines,
trained.
killing machines?
No,
Come on,
don't say murder.
Okay.
Yes,
I
I
got
want
triggered by the word murder. You know what I'm talking
because it's
about.
not murder.
Triggered.
It's not
No,
murder.
I agree they're not trained to be law enforcement. Now, National Guard is usually trained to be to do like riot control. And some Marines are trained to do riot control too. Like there's some training for domestic, but that's for very particular moments in history where you have like huge riots like Rodney King. It's never for this. But like I'm just saying the way Pisco phrased it there, he just got beat up in the past few minutes.
You're Mr. Technical over here
crazy.
using the right words.
You know what I'm
It's not
talking
murder.
about.
I'm gonna answer-
Killing
I'm-
machines. Do I want
I'm
them
gonna-
to be highly trained and lethal?
Lethal, yes.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. You understood what I was talking about.
I'm gonna
You
answer.
understood what I was
Guys,
talking about.
okay. Let's answer the point.
Okay, yeah.
Answer the question.
They're not specialized
City.
for civilian law enforcement.
In New York City, do you know how?
There you go. They're not specialized for civilian law enforcement. Okay, they're not specialized for civilian law enforcement. Okay, law enforcement. But we do have people who do that. All right, and Trump is defunding them currently. Right, Trump is currently defunding the people who do civilian law enforcement, who are from the communities they serve. Right? Yeah. There you go, Pisco. You got out of it.
Do you remember when that when the cops
couple
shot
bruises.
7 random people?
No, I don't know.
All right, let me tell you this. Let me
What are
tell
you
you.
talking about? It's always some random fucking story with you.
You too. You were like, I met some guy who told me that the military should.
I'm trying to appeal the way that you do.
So in New York, a guy went to, I think it was the Empire.
Pisco just admit he's trying to copy the propaganda style too. Tough. Pisco. Maybe if Pisco didn't ignore my attempts to do a show with him, he would have learned a little bit of this stuff.
State building
Just saying.
and shot and killed people in his office. He disgruntled.
Oh yes, I do remember that
He
actually.
walked out, and the NYPD ran up to stop him, and they fired, missed him, and hit 7 random people.
They hit 7 random people.
7 random people. I believe that number was 7.
Wow.
The argument that was presented, all like this was a New York.
Kyle in chat and anyone who watches Pisco too, you can tell him to react to this. I'll post this as a YouTube video so he can react to it if he wants to. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. This is a debate on Tim Pool debate review.
Talking point, it was a big concern that needed to be rectified, was that the cost of the lawsuits for improper discharge and injury was less
I'm gonna react to this for another like 20 minutes and go to bed, guys. I gotta wake up early.
than the cost of training the NYPD. So it was actually it's your basic cost risk analysis, right? Remember that scene from Fight Club?
Capitalism for the win, huh?
It is. Remember the scene from Fight Club where Edward Norton's character is on the plane and he says, if a car is defective and it crashes and kills the people inside, and the company knows the cost of the lawsuit will be less than the cost of a recall, we don't recall. That's what happened in New York. They said, how come these cops couldn't shoot? And they said, well, to be honest, comprehensive firearm training is more expensive than the lawsuits we have to pay out when they shoot innocent people.
Who said that?
This was the basic.
This was
Did
the
anyone
guy.
say that?
The guy said
Yes,
this. The
but
guy.
I want to be careful here
It's
because
the guy.
there's.
The guy
I don't want to
said it.
ascribe something to somebody who's going to sue me later for obvious reasons.
I'm rooting for
The
Pisco. I
general
like Pisco.
conversation among politicians was the NYPD, or I should say the debate politically in the cultural space was the NYPD isn't doing these trainings because it's more expensive than paying lawsuits. They're not going to publicly admit it at the highest levels, but that was the internal, like, everybody kind of knows.
This is
it's
so
50 million a
stupid,
year in
dude.
lawsuits versus 100 million for training.
By the way, if you go to a highway, like for example, like the turnpike from like Pennsylvania to Ohio, through Ohio, everywhere in Ohio, but West Virginia definitely. There's Tim Pool billboards. There's Tim Pool billboards everywhere. By the way, like everywhere. So all the truck drivers driving for 24 hours and change, like when, you know, their usual shift. I don't know the exact hours. I know there's some 8 hours. There's some 20 hours. There's some 30 hours with breaks in between. There's some 10 hours. I don't know what the usual typical shifts are. But regardless, when they're driving, they're seeing these billboards with Tim Pool and they're watching this bullshit. They're watching it.
So what we end up seeing is,
Oh yeah, there's
I will say
billboards
this.
everywhere with his face on it.
I would
Tim
rather
Cast
have
IRL.
a military trained individual who
I can probably, if I drive for 2 hours, if you go to West Virginia and Ohio and drive for 2 hours, you're gonna see his face on like 10 billboards.
later becomes a cop than a short fat guy with no training.
That's
who
not what we're
becomes a cop.
talking about. Yeah, if a military person.
When you say they're killing machines or
but
murder
you
machines,
know what
my
I'm talking
point-
about, dude. You
Okay,
guys are
let
soling
me finish
out.
my point.
You've been
Let me
Mr.
finish.
Technical
let me,
this whole
okay,
time,
I'm going to finish my point. A former military. I'm not talking about military because I'm trying to make the point. Former military police who have military and police training
Great.
are safer and better at their jobs than somebody who just grew up in the area and got limited police training.
Okay.
Therefore, the point is there's more discipline and better training among military personnel than local police.
Do you?
Your argument misses that point.
Okay. Bring up the Declaration of Independence. Can you do this? Can you bring up the
Sure.
Declaration of Independence? I would love for you.
Now we're going to the Declaration of Independence, and now you can appeal to this too, but for the audience who thinks with their emotions more so, he kind of lost them. Again, my example of leading with law enforcement, supporting local police, and not the big brother government is probably the better way to go.
To do that, but
I don't know what that
All
has
men are created equal.
no, I'm not going to
what
put
do they
that.
have to do with
New goal for Joel Billboard Fund. Yeah, donate to Joel Politics on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo to get a billboard. In about 2 years, we're going to buy one billboard. I'm going to get a picture in front of it. We're going to take it right down because we can only afford to rent it for 1 day. All right, we're going to rent it for 1 day. Exactly 1 day. All right, please help me get a billboard, guys.
Asterisk. Freeborn, white
We're
Christian
talking about the
Englishman.
policy.
That is the
Talking about
context.
I did not say that former military people
That
should
is
not
true
be
because they didn't mean
cops.
black people.
Trump lost your
No,
support.
yeah. People say, oh, they weren't living up to their ideals. That was actually the specific application of their ideal at the time.
We disagree with it now.
Wait,
for
I
sure.
agree, guys. I agree with that person in chat. Everyone here make fake accounts on every social media site and go under Trump's post and say, this is why I don't support you anymore. Okay, let's gaslight people.
Scroll down real quick.
What am I going to say on the billboard?
until they listen out. He is kept among.
The billboard's going to say, don't shit your pants, even if it's legal. All right? Or it might be legal, but you still shouldn't shit your pants.
Thus, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures, he has effected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. One of the main complaints, central theses of the founding generation was that having standing armies mixed in with civilian enforcement is dangerous.
Without consent.
You cited, didn't you?
Yeah, they're saying no.
Consent, Trump.
Rome. Okay, you cited Rome. One of the big dangers and why standing armies might be bad and deleterious to domestic liberty is that someone might use that domestic military to usurp our Republican form of government. And so these are genuine policy reasons
now
why
you're saying Trump's a dictator. Wah, wah, wah.
don't want to have standing armies.
We don't
among
want
our
the
police
standing
force.
army to usurp our Republican form of government. The problem that we
wanted
have right
to give it back to the white Christians,
now
right?
is that
right,
the
buddy?
people, our citizens themselves, and a bunch of people who aren't citizens have usurped that Republican
White
form of
men,
government.
white Christian men. Sorry.
So, like, this is like going into a house that's on fire with, or a house that's flooded with a fire extinguisher.
Chill out,
right?
Kate.
It's the wrong solution. You have to look at the context. When we have
Phil?
the founders, they're looking at England, and there is religious persecution. Right, the king at the time was forcing ministers to read from the Sports Almanac on the Lord's Day in their church service, which violated their consciences because you got a bunch of Protestant Puritans, those kinds of things. You had tyranny, you had civil tyranny, you had ecclesiastical tyranny, and so they're coming from that, and they're coming from that with people who are homogenous, people who have the same convictions, they have the same ethnic background.
Ethnic background, guys. We knew it. He was going to talk about the
and so in that
homogeneity.
context, they're
This
saying
doesn't apply
our
anymore.
fear. Listen, they're saying our fear is government overreach, and even with the First Amendment, our fear is religious overreach. When the First Amendment was not to think that the First Amendment was written, they're like, you know what? We're really hoping one day that this will protect Muslims.
This guy with no beard would look crazy, by the way.
Well,
With no beard,
I
bro.
just want to say one. I
insane.
consent. As a Chicago native, and I know I don't speak.
You're not. Wait, that's not how it works, Tim. You formerly living in Chicago, and now you live in West Virginia. First off, even if you lived in Chicago, the Democratic majority there, who elected their elected officials, those elected officials would make that determination. But I don't know why Tim thinks him living in West Virginia matters at all. He left. He has no say anymore.
For literally everyone in Chicago, I can tell you that my friends and my homies, they work here. They're from my neighborhood.
My friends and my homies. My
Majority don't though.
my
That's
friend and my
not
homies.
You think the majority? So the majority in DC don't.
The majority of who?
So
majority of the people.
my
Yeah,
neighborhood,
but the people are not white. Okay, Pisco, you don't understand.
Chicago.
You
don't
my-
get
my
it.
neighbor-
People love Chicago,
my-
people love
my-
DC.
My Democrat neighborhood in Chicago is now a Trump-supporting red neighborhood. And
Who asked? Okay.
Wait,
okay.
what
I'm
district?
making
the
this
city.
point.
Let's
So
look it up.
I am saying this. For my neighborhood, where we do agree and did vote for Trump, we consent to Trump deploying to that neighborhood specifically. And
We consent.
I do not believe it's fair that Pritzker, the governor, infringe upon our rights as a community to request federal assistance only in our neighborhood.
Well, the city officials also don't want it.
I
My neighborhood
consent.
does. Does my neighborhood have a right to say?
My neighborhood
No,
does.
they have a vote. They have a say in whatever count. Listen, I don't know how the Chicago city government is run. You probably know more than I do. But you have representation, and overwhelmingly the city of Chicago, the city of LA, the city of DC, they don't want this deployment there.
Let me
you
ask
know
you.
that.
Let me ask you. If Illinois, as a jurisdiction, says, "Do not deploy," we refuse. Trump should not do it.
Okay.
Right? You agree? You would agree with that?
Well,
The state saying, "Don't come here. You don't have a right."
in this specific context, yes.
At what point do individuals lose the right, lose their rights to a superior form of government?
Well, I don't know. Are we entertaining hypotheticals at this point? Because you seem pretty resistant to it earlier.
It's not. So my point is quite literally, my neighborhood turned red and voted for Trump. This was in 2012. It was blue, Democrat voting, and then in 2016 it was blue. In 2020 it was a little red, and in 2024 it turned red and voted for Trump. Why should this particular isolated community that has a shared worldview, when they say we actually would like the National Guard to come here to stop the violence. Why should the city of Chicago, who don't live there and don't agree, be able to enforce their will and allow the crime to continue?
Because the overall levels of sovereignty are like the municipal,
Every house in America should have their own government, dude, and their own rights. That's what he's saying, pretty much. That's what Temple just said.
the state,
So
and then the
tyranny,
federal. So I mean,
tyranny is okay in some degrees.
I don't know what you mean by tyranny.
Okay.
You have representation.
So
in
let's
that local district, that local council, and all.
let's try the let's forget all of the country
Yeah.
and isolate only the borders of Chicago.
Okay.
There is one neighborhood. They have an alderman. That's what the local politicians are called.
Sure.
It has specific boundaries. And in this jurisdiction, they say crime has gotten out of hand. Our government has abandoned us and we need help. But the city of Chicago says you're not going to get it and we will keep anyone who tries from coming to your neighbor to save you. Is that tyranny?
Because the overall sovereign is the city of Chicago in that
Anyone
case.
who
That's-
tries.
So people should suffer if the sovereign determines it.
Well, yeah, but your
Their
voice,
vote be damned.
your voice is not forgotten in that context because that alderman is representing his constituencies. He just doesn't command.
That's what Russia said. I mean, Russia's like, dude, the people in Ukraine are struggling. The people in Ukraine are struggling. I know they're a sovereign state, but they're struggling, and we got to save them. That's what Russia said. That's why Tim Pool loves this argument. Not really, but probably, maybe. We got to save Ukraine. Ukraine's like, no, do not save us. We don't want to be saved. Do not invade our sovereign territory. And Russia's like, no, but like, you got to be saved. I mean, you want to deny your ability to have a better government because we said so, and we have more guns?
And a majority in the city. The city is the sovereign. And
But we're not asking for employment to the rest of the
basically
city.
everything that you do, Tim, is you're basically doing this kind of continuum fallacy thing.
Stop being so obtuse.
Where
Okay, don't say continuum fallacy. Debate tip number 1. Okay.
does a puddle,
Podcast tip.
where does a puddle
You make
become
the
a lake?
arguments
Come
about
on,
the King
come
of
on.
England.
So the city of
You're pretending to be stupid
The city
intentionally.
of Chicago is the
You're
sovereign
pretending
there.
to be stupid intentionally when I'm literally taking your argument and applying it to Chicago, and you refuse to accept it because you know you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
All right, rule number 1 of Joel Law debate class. Don't say continuum fallacy. All right, don't say fallacy ever. All right, never say the word fallacy. Never say that word.
I'm
Let me
wrong.
say it again.
I'm not
when
wrong.
you cite the King of England as violating the rights of the colonies because the colonies is a jurisdiction under the crown, you say we have the right to oppose the king. When I say a single neighborhood in Chicago says no to the mayor, you say the mayor can tell them what they can or can't do because they don't have the right.
If you go back to the Declaration of Independence, what was the other big issue with the system in the colonies is they didn't have representation. They didn't have representation in the parliament. They didn't have any say whatsoever. That's not the same in the situation that you presented, where you have local governance and you have local governance in right next to you. It's not like you're across an ocean.
My neighborhood does not have representation at the city.
Let me finish.
At the
You
state
do.
level.
You fucking do. Obviously, you do.
No.
What you're saying, the alderman doesn't have any say.
You can also say like, if someone still supported the king, all right, and they did not want to become, they were against the Declaration of Independence. Should we just let them hold a state in America? Do they just get to have their own territory and say they're still part of England? Are you gonna say that's okay? Like they could just split off from us whenever they want to? With the 13 colonies, like it's just they could just leave. They could just like not be a part of this, or do you just kick like that? It just doesn't work. See, but these are arguments where it's like when they say like communists want to print money because communists want everything for free. This is the same argument that's trying to criticize. It's like we want everything for free. We want the perfect world. If there's one issue at all with what's happening, I'm going to say we need a whole new system. We need a revolution. So if there's any type of power over me, any power at all. So we say the federal government with one person can't take over your town. Well, why can't they? Or like, why can they? Why can't they? Why can they? There's some issues. There's issues here. There's issues there. Why can't we just bypass all laws then? There's one crime that happened. I mean, dude, one crime is too many. If you start off with like, 300 is too many crimes. Well, 200 is too many. We got to send in the military. 100 is too many. We got to send in the military. You get to a point where it's like, you're never going to stop. You're never going to stop. One crime is too many. Send in the military. And that ideology gets you to North Korea. That ideology gets you to Russia. That ideology gets you to China. Full surveillance states, no freedom, dictatorships. That's how you get there. You say one crime, that's way too many. Send in the military. Who cares about a constitution? Because you don't know why you need a constitution. No one realizes anymore.
Whatsoever.
At the state level.
Okay, at the state level.
There is an over-encompassing jurisdiction that engulfs my neighborhood.
That's how we set up our system. Our system is... And
that's how the Crown set up theirs.
Hang on a second. So
pick and choose.
We recognize...
You just want to exercise power over people.
You're saying it's all arbitrary. So the state line's arbitrary.
I'm saying when the people vote, the people have the right to choose.
So why do you care about... So what do you care about state sovereignty when you're talking about like your big issue with federalization of all police force? If you're taking taking this ultimately elastic approach,
which is
to
completely
sovereignty.
aligned with exactly what I just said.
No, it's not at all aligned, because
People have a right to self-governance, be it a small neighborhood, a city, state, or otherwise. And no one should be able to come to a single person and force them to drop to their knees to proselytize for Muhammad.
honestly think
Now here's the debate topic to beat all of them. All right, you got to go to the bar. All right, you got to talk to someone who's chill. All right, talk to a chill, moderate Republican and have the same conversation. All right, listen to how you speak to them. Like, what I'm concerned about is really just safety and freedoms for everybody. I want to make sure that everyone's represented at the local level, and we have the ability in America to support our neighbors, and so we can all have better lives in America. I don't know why, like Tim, I don't know why you're talking about all this weird stuff about like the king and colonies and the tyranny, and I'm just talking about making the country better, dude. Like, you got to normie them. You got to normie the shit out of them. You got to make them feel autistic and weird for not knowing how to talk like a normal human being. Like, you don't even need to engage at this level, because Tim Pool is he's an expert propagandist. He's kind of baiting Pisco, and he's talked to him enough. He's baiting Pisco to be rhetorically ineffective. Like, there's a way you can beat it.
Do you honestly think that if
chill.
one person in Chicago says, I consent, that the government should have the right to deploy? Okay, so
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
ultra-normie.
You're stupid.
Wait, no. So then what are you talking about? I'm talking about the polities and the sovereignties that we have established in our current system, which are the state government. The state is the true sovereign in that sense.
Now, okay, let me translate this for you. Okay, so I'm talking about, if you're a local government, your neighborhood, all right, we have a system where the federal government can't come in and say, we know better than you do. All right, we don't want the federal government to send agents into our towns against our wishes to say they know better than we do. Okay, Pisco just said that, but he said it really bad.
And they've allocated some authority to the city of Chicago. They have not consented. That's what I'm saying.
If a body of people
And there's authority, and Chicago has the ability to, have their local rules. And they never said they want the federal agents, but the federal agents won't listen. They just won't listen. They just send them in. The president sends them in. So what if there's a Democratic president? I don't want a Democratic president to be able to send the feds into West Virginia randomly because they don't like their policies. We do have different rights at different levels, and that's how America was made from the beginning.
a specific jurisdiction vote for how they should live within certain respects of obvious things like don't murder, right? We should say we respect the wishes of this community.
Okay.
Should people be allowed in their communities to vote for how they want to run their local
generally,
community?
yes.
So this one small 3 square mile area says we don't want to impose National Guard on any of you.
I love in chat, Josh said I voted for Trump, and Teresa said, Josh, I'm sorry. Everyone can make a mistake.
We don't want them to go to your communities. We would like them to come here. The outside authority says, no, we won't allow you to do that.
So are you going to say that everywhere that they say we don't want them, that Trump can't go?
Say that one more time.
Are you going to say, therefore, if what you're saying is what you think should happen, that is that one alderman should be able to speak for his district or whatever the polity is, whatever the group is there, that everywhere where they don't provide that permission, Trump should be barred from going?
It's not a proper inversion.
Okay.
So the existence of law enforcement is not the same as the non-existence of law enforcement. So the issue would be like this.
The existence of law enforcement is not the same.
You can't vote to commit crimes against your neighbors. Hence the point I made. The community says we will not impose this on you. We're not going to vote for you so that we can say in our community, we're going to send people to your neighborhood to do something to you. That means if your community has crime going on, which is negatively impacting outside communities, we can go and stop that. Because you are... So I'll put
this the mayor of Chicago who represents all Chicagoans, correct?
Even if you what?
Even if he says no. The mayor of Chicago represents all Chicagoans.
He doesn't.
Why not?
Because some people didn't vote for him.
Hang on. Just because they didn't vote for him doesn't mean that doesn't represent them.
Well, okay.
I didn't vote for Trump. Trump represents me in the federal system.
In the legal context.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I thought you were saying in the moral views of the people voting.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm saying if the mayor of Chicago, the elected official of Chicago, says we don't want you here, should Trump respect that?
No.
Okay, but we should respect the alderman. Help me out there.
Right. Okay. So let's try this. You've got a 3 square mile area. Mm-hmm. The people there are suffering under violence, drugs, or otherwise. They all vote in majority and say, we need help. we don't want to infringe on anybody's communities, so we are not going to ask any National Guard, or nor do they have the authority to do so. They say, Mayor, can you please send us help? The mayor says no. And they say, okay, well, we have to do something about that. They form neighborhood watches. What does the city do? It goes and arrests those people and criminally charge. I'm not kidding, this actually happens. They try to put up signs saying neighborhood watch, and then what ends up happening is you're guilty of a criminal conspiracy, and people got criminally charged for doing so. So when the mayor is violating the rights of the people who are not trying to infringe on anybody.
This is a classic Tim Pool example. I remember seeing him talk about this exact same thing in this exact same way like 5 years ago, like during COVID. Didn't he talk about this before? About like a neighborhood watch that was shut down because the local ordinance did not allow it?
Else to stop crimes. I believe it is appropriate for that community to be able to say, yeah, Trump, we consent to sending a National Guard, and Trump has the authority to say there's an emergency here and there's crimes happening.
So let's talk about and sovereignty matter until they don't.
Wouldn't the issue there be electing different local leaders that have a community or like a neighborhood watch? You can elect different local leaders, and the response would probably not be to just bring the military into town. Probably, I mean.
So here's the inverse. Yeah. If there is a 3 square mile radius where people from that community are going outside of it and shooting and killing people and stealing from them, I believe then it's appropriate for Trump to say, I don't care what you want, you're committing crimes against people, so we're sending a National Guard whether you want us to or not.
And to enforce immigration law as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and so you don't have a problem with the military enforcing civilian law, that's right?
In some circumstances, yes, in some, no.
So in the immigration context, you're totally...
I hate it, dude. I hate it. My opinion is, if I like something, it should be allowed. If I don't like it, then it should not be allowed. So like, basically, if I like you, you should have rights, and if I don't like you, you should not have rights. And this is my principle, okay? When I'm driving a car, I'm very pro car infrastructure. When I'm walking on the sidewalk, I'm very pro walking infrastructure. I'm a very nuanced person. If I'm riding a bike, I'm very pro bike lanes. But if I'm not in a bike, then I'm anti-bike lane. I'm a very nuanced person. I'm for whatever suits me in that moment, pretty much. That's what Tim Pool's saying.
Totally fine with, let's say...
Totally, no, that's absolutism.
So you are fine in the current context with active duty Marines, as was done in LA, being deployed, and then in Chicago, let's say, Marines...
When they're dropping cinder blocks on people and the local...
Oh my God, they dropped a cinder block. Freaking nuke them, dude. Send in a nuke. Bomb them, now. Bomb them. Someone threw a cinder block, bro. We gotta bomb the shit out of that town, bro. Holy shit. Game over.
Wait.
Let me
America has fallen. Holy shit, dude. Shit. God.
Here's the question. Marines enforcing and executing an immigration search warrant. Would you be in favor of that?
Did they find child slaves?
I asked you a question.
What the hell, dude? What the hell's going on?
Did they find child slaves?
Whether they did or not, it doesn't have any bearing on the question.
It certainly does.
Hey, cool beans. I just want to tell you, I'm getting off in 5 minutes. You came late, buddy.
Why?
Because we're not talking about absolutes. There are circumstances involved. If the argument is the Marines can randomly show up and they're like, we're just going to do it anyway, I'd say, well, hold on.
No.
When the U.S. government says we have evidence showing that there's child slave labor going on in marijuana farms, I say yes to it.
Tim, what I'm proposing is,
the answer is yes.
If Hegseth says Marines go enforce immigration law in the country, you're cool with that. Generally, he doesn't say, "Oh, because there's child sex slavery." He just says we are executing on our authority under the U.S. Constitution, and we're saying Marines go enforce our immigration law.
Will it remove criminal illegals from the country?
Well, hold on.
We have to get into it.
Let's try and advance this from 5th grade debate to.
Wait, why don't you just answer the question?
I'm trying to, but so when you ask something that didn't happen, for the purpose of setting up a precept that doesn't apply.
The military did.
The hypotheticals are crazy.
Why did they do it?
Because Trump asked them to.
Why did he ask them to do it?
Because he wanted them to. I don't know. You have to ask Trump.
Right. So that's the 5th grade level.
Right.
When you go to college, you find out that in their cabinet meetings, they were.
Now, if someone said that to Tim Pool, you know what the reaction would be from conservatives. If he said, "Oh, that's the high school level," now if you go to college, bro.
Child slaves being held on pot farms. We got to put a stop to it.
It wasn't just there. It was internal.
Okay. So when you come to me and say, let me ask you this question. Should a...
Wait, no, you never answered my question.
The answer is...
Yes,
when
military
applicable.
And when applicable is only when there's an intersection with child sex labor or in general.
When he says,
There's a lot of circumstances.
When Tim Pool says I like it, it should be applicable. I do kind of believe that liberals would be seen as less condescending if they were actually condescending. Let me know in chat if that makes sense. I'm getting off after this, but let me know if it makes sense. Liberals would be considered to be less condescending if they were more condescending outwardly. Like if they were just dicks sometimes. Like, if they were just open about, like, yeah, bro, like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, shut the hell up for a second. Like, chill. Like, I want to do good things, but, like, chill. I feel like the speak liberals do, like, well, I'm very sensitive to your feelings, but those of us in the academic community are really concerned that we're doing things that might be a little wrong, and we don't want anyone to get hurt, so we want to make these recommendations. I feel like that feels worse. All right? If someone's straight up and they're like, dude, this is just wrong. Like, let's get the job done. Like, I feel like, even like, bro, don't be a dumbass. Don't be a dumbass. Like, I study this shit. Like, don't be a dumbass. I feel like that is a lot better. You're less likely to be perceived as condescending if you're straight up about it. If you're real, like, bro, you're being a dipshit right now. Let's be honest. Instead of being like, people who are very affected, affected by being a little goofy, a little silly. We want to make sure we give proper recommendations and best practices to them, and then we can have a full dialogue about what we do. I just feel like that language is enraging. I think that's half. I feel like that's a lot of the issue.
Which it's good the military stops evil. Yes.
But these requests. DHS says we want these ride-alongs. We want DHS to come with us everywhere we go to help us execute these warrants for, and not just people.
How it happened. See, this is the problem.
God. Whether it happened or not, I'm asking you whether you'd be okay with it.
I don't know how many times you need me to say that the absolute federalization of law enforcement is a bad thing.
That's what I'm talking about. It's limited. The scope I'm talking about here is immigration enforcement.
You're saying, should the federal government enforce local law without reason?
Should the federal government use the military to enforce immigration law in the interior of the country? That's
sometimes.
What I'm asking. In the context
sometimes.
For executing search warrants.
Sometimes, yes.
All right.
Sometimes, yes.
I think that there's a strong presumption against that kind of internal domestic law enforcement by
the
military.
answer is always sometimes.
Yes.
So this is what you have not done thus far in this discussion, and I'm just honestly curious. What's your solution?
For what?
A bunch of murder in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't take that to be the proposition of what we're here to talk about. But
I'll answer for him.
I'll answer for him. I think we should. I think we should fund our law enforcement. I think that we should have, when appropriate, use the FBI and other federal resources. I mean, to help the city of Chicago.
Didn't work.
Hang on a second. So, just be clear. Just because something doesn't work doesn't mean that we should apply the military solution. That doesn't follow, right? Just because
you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, despite.
No, there's a bigger argument to make here. There's a bigger argument here that's about like effectiveness of different policies over time and things improving and there being unique issues. And you could bring up red states have this level of violence, the ranking of red states and their violence versus other states. You can have that conversation.
If it doesn't work,
and
you
also
have to do something that works.
It doesn't work. Because saying it doesn't work is just really a bad thing to just give up.
You said yourself, crime is down overall in the country. I mean, Trump took credit.
So let's do two things.
In DC, Trump was taking credit for massive crime coming down in May of this year.
You know what I'm going to do?
That's great.
You know what I want to do?
Chicago is still a hellhole.
You know what I want to do? I want to juxtapose your arguments over Nick Fuentes's, because you guys agree
on what?
The crime is down in Chicago. Yeah, they bulldozed the black neighborhood.
Would you be in favor of bulldozing the black neighborhood?
Fuck no.
Would you?
But that's what the Democrats did.
Okay, but
over and over again.
Why are you suggesting that I'm in favor of that? I'm like fucking.
Wait, what does bulldoze the black neighborhood mean? What is the black neighborhood? Is that every black neighborhood?
London spilled. I think that we should build more housing.
So when we're talking about finding alternatives to what
people who live in the city,
okay, you said crime is down, and I'm like, yeah, after Democrats bulldoze the black neighborhood.
No, I mean you're going to characterize the decrease in crime that's been experienced across the country. Really, I mean crime has been going down.
Well, that's also to do with collection of statistics, as we've seen recently.
You're doubting the statistics. You're doubting FBI statistics.
No.
Because they have distorted them for the last few years.
You know, one of my favorite.
Trump takes credit for
my favorite websites.
Not that one. It's not when Trump takes credit.
Are you guys familiar? Are you guys familiar with the website Spurious Correlations?
No,
unfortunately,
I'm not familiar with it.
Let me see if I can pull this one up.
Oh, is this like
so? You
like
just
the release
think
of Nicolas
so?
Cage
You do have a.
Here we go.
I only talk to Euro Travels if they donate $50 to my Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Okay, to my Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. No super chats count. You blocked me from calling LMAO. The left is best at silencing opposition. Yes. Yes.
Wait.
Locally should be solved by funding police
We should
more.
fund police more. We should.
Look at this.
Yeah.
What's that?
The number of movies Elijah Wood appeared in versus the number of orderlies in Oklahoma, and there is a direct correlation. I think
The same people that say that there's a correlation in being trans right now.
Elijah Wood needs to be in more movies because we're running out of orderlies.
Where is the problem that I'm like where you think that I'm doing correlation causation?
So when we talk about why crime is down, do you know why crime is down?
I mean, I have some guess and intuitions.
Reasons
I'm
matter.
not okay. So I expect that something to do with overall,
Population decline.
population is not declining in this country.
Population is declining in this country.
No, the growth rate is decreasing, but our population has grown.
Now, I think this is going to be the first year that we actually
This year,
decline because we
because of
stopped
immigration
Right.
And the average age of immigrants is?
I'm not sure.
So they're adults in their 20s. And crime in Chicago is typically black teenagers, not only black teenagers. That's the point I'm trying to make. When we're talking about population decline, once again,
Tim, the population was not declining at the time.
Okay, we're going to go there again.
Immigration.
Hold on. Okay.
No,
We're going to go there again.
just
We're going to go
immigration.
there again. You can't look at the overall population and say population hasn't changed. Hold on.
You see, Russia, China, and India, had a good meeting today. Everyone with a profile has an account. Nice. Thank you for $2. Will you teach me? But Russia, China, and India had a big summit like yesterday.
New donation from Vandred. $20 now I feel bad.
Vandred, you'll feel better if you donate 30 more. All right, you'll get your status back if you do 30 more. I'm just saying. If you round it out at 50, you'll get your status back.
Demographics did. The age of the average person is higher,
Yeah.
right? Because
You
there's
have
no
to
young
work
people.
for
When
it.
there's less young people, there's less crime.
You have to
Young
work for
males
it, I'm just saying.
typically are the perpetrators of crime. So when you say crime is going down, it correlates with a lack of young people.
No,
That's the spurious correlation I'm pointing out. You say crime is down, we don't need police. No, hold on.
I did not say that. I said the opposite. I said that we should fund police more. Did you hear me say that?
When you were
did
saying
you,
we
did you
don't-
or did you
Yes,
not hear
I
me
get
say
it.
that?
The
Okay,
point
so
is,
what you just said was fucking dishonest. right?
On the surface level, what happens
Thank you for
is
$20,
people who
but
don't
you gotta
know
work
why a
harder.
thing happens try to ascribe the wrong solution.
Dictator Joel.
When have I
True.
tried? Can you identify a single thing that I've ascribed the wrong, reason why crime is going down?
Literally the subject matter we're talking about.
When did I ascribe a reason why crime was going
You said population's growing.
down? Hang on. You brought up population. Did I bring up a reason why crime is going down? Do you remember?
Indeed,
No, I
you
didn't.
don't know.
Tim, when are you going to start using this gavel?
I did
right
not
there.
state that.
No,
No.
the skibbity. Who's this?
I
What
wanna
is this?
use it.
Callan brought a
Can I
skibbity.
just be like, say Christ is Lord?
Wait, hang on a second. wait a second. So
Say it.
didn't I bring up, and you can tell me if you disagree with this, maybe you think I brought it up for some other reason, that crime is going down to suggest to you that it's less of a problem than it was before?
You were suggesting we don't need intervention because crime is going down.
No, I'm saying, do you agree it's less of a problem than it was 30 years ago? Of course it is, right?
Wait, what?
We're not
Is
talking-
crime less of a problem now than it was 30 years ago?
It depends where.
No. Wait, what?
Overall,
Crime is a
on
problem
net in the
always,
country.
and it's of same value.
I love the
The value or urgency of crime hasn't changed at all.
So the urgency of crime isn't affected by how much crime there is?
Let me ask you
Wait,
guys a
I want
question
to
for
hear
you.
you say that, Tim. Is the urgency of crime
need to lay
is
down.
problem affected by how much crime there is? Is it?
The urgency of yes. The more crime there is, the more we have to be.
So
concerned
crime is
about.
less urgent now than it was 30 years ago. Is that right? Why not?
Do you know why the murder rate went down?
No, Can you answer my question?
I am answering your question, but you're not smart enough to understand.
Is he gonna say mass incarceration?
Situations.
Listen. You can answer. A question is not an answer. So I'm not sure. You're asking, do you understand murder rates? I don't know.
I'm going to
do you mean
pause
by
real
that?
quick and just go to
Wait, why did Jimmy Byrne say you need $50 for an AC? That's the issue. Why do people still know about the AC, dude? What the hell? That hasn't happened in so long. We're on the TV now, but the AC thing happened so long ago.
comprehensive skill.
Yeah.
Why do you know that?
You know, there's an issue we see in.
Will you teach me? Please let me talk. I'm donating to you. The mods are what the left wants the police to be. Dude, the last time you called into my stream, you literally had a meltdown at the end. That's why I blocked you. Because you had a literal meltdown. Evandra donates $16.69. $16.69, okay?
Congress all the time, where someone will ask a question that requires a
take it or
comprehensive
leave it.
answer. The left and the right does this, where you can't, it's the question, when did you stop beating your wife? It's like, well, hold on there a minute. The answer is not a specific time.
Why don't you answer? Why is crime less urgent now when there's less crime? Why is crime just as urgent or more urgent now when there's less crime?
Do me a favor, don't talk for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Please.
Do you know why the murder rate has gone down substantially in the United States?
Yeah, probably, as you said, few young people. That'll be something.
No. Any idea?
Internet?
Cell phones.
Yeah.
The crime is still happening.
Oh my god, dude.
But because people have faster ability to call 911 and ambulances arrive on scene much more quickly, the rate at which you die from the violent crime.
The rate is for total victimization. It's violent crime. It's not for people who actually die. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Has gone down. What ended up happening is with the ubiquity of cell phones in the late 2000s, we see a big drop off in the murder rate.
$16.69.
What we ended up seeing
This
from
is
many
mod
politicians
abuse.
was murder is down, we're winning. What they didn't
All right, now we're gonna do a
understand
poll.
was that attempted murder or violent aggravated assaults remained static. So in the 90s, if you got stabbed, someone would run and try and find a phone, you died. In 2010, you got stabbed, someone took their cell phone, called 911, and within minutes, the paramedics were there decreasing the amount at which someone got murdered. So is the urgency of crime changed because murder has gone down? No. It's still happening, but with the ability to call law enforcement and first responders quickly.
It's not just murder, Tim. You know that. Everything is down over the course of over a long period of time. It's down.
Correlates with the decrease in young people.
Okay, but I'm asking you, doesn't that make it so that crime is less of an issue now in the United States than it was before?
May I ask a conditional?
Can you answer that first? Wait, can you answer that first? Is crime less of a problem now than it was?
I answered it like 5 times
you haven't.
already.
No, answer this question. Is crime less of a problem now than 30, 40? No, you said a bunch of shit about cell phones and this is why murder rates are down.
The problem of crime is static. It is unchanging. Crime is always bad.
Crime, whether or not crime is a problem, does not bear on like
any crime.
incidents, whether it's
you
happening.
need to get like shapes to put in a bucket so you
Just
can
like I
understand
said.
what shape
One,
it's in which
if there's one crime that's just as bad, just as urgent as 1,000 crimes.
No!
Okay, so then what's the issue here? Why don't you answer the question?
It's like your brain is what were those Duplos?
I don't know what a Duplo is.
Exactly.
What's a Duplo?
Duplo were the really big Legos because little kids didn't have the
I
ability to
never heard of
comprehend
that.
small shapes.
Wait, no, okay, but like, hang on.
You keep doing the same thing where you say, what about this problem? Do you agree with an absolute? I don't. What about this absolute?
Is
I don't agree
more
with it.
crime worse?
More crime is worse.
Okay,
but
so now that we have
now
less
we're playing-
crime,
Okay.
if we have less crime, is that
Can I
less of a
come in on
problem?
that?
Okay, I'm getting off, but it's funny. Every conversation with a conservative is the Patrick Wallet meme. Is more crime worse? Is more crime worse? What do you mean? Is more bad worse? I don't know. It's awesome, dude. All right, thank you for watching. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate it. Have a good night, guys. Donate to Joel Up Politics, Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. Vandra. Wait, there's a majority of no's? Wow. Wow. Now, Vandred, if you donate $2 and you say I'm a silly goose, then you could be a mod again. All right, final decision. You have to say I'm a silly goose though. It doesn't matter when you do it. Just when you want to be a mod again. All right, $2 and say I'm a silly goose, and say quack quack, even though a goose doesn't quack. All right, say quack quack. Say I'm a silly goose, quack quack. All right. I'm a silly goose, quack quack. Okay? It will be good. For $2. We're all gonna be waiting.
New donation from Vandred. $10. I'm a silly Billy Goose.
Okay. Okay, you're allowed back in. You didn't say quack quack. I think I said quack quack after you did it. All right, but all right. I said $2. I said $2. Look at that. Look at that. What the hell is will you teach? Will you teach me? What do you really want from me? Will you teach me? I'll give you attention. Fine, I'll give you attention. Will you teach me? You're a what do you mean you're a trans goose? Thank you for $5 MP. Thank you so much for $5 MP. Thank you so much. Wait, your lefty audience is broke like you? Will you teach me? Are you rich? No, like be honest. Do you got money like that? Will you teach me? I won't believe you until you donate $69 to coffee.com/Jola. You must be rich. Do you guys think this stream is okay, or not the stream, the graphic? Is this graphic okay? Is this graphic good? I feel like this graphic, I made it because I wanted I know it's a little bit repetitive, but I made it because I don't want to have to say this every single time. So I think like in between callers. Tonight the algorithm was not good. I had a bad algorithm, for callers at least. But I think this is nice, so I don't need to say it every single time that I have a conversation. Makes it a little bit clearer what we're doing. Maybe I'll do it with a... You want tears? You want more tears? Honey, boo boo. I don't know what you're talking about. You gave me attention all night, bro. LMAO. You just won't even speak because as a leftist, speech isn't free unless if you pay for it. Well, free speech is a government policy. It doesn't mean you get to talk on my YouTube stream, right? You're choosing to donate money. I mean, you can come back and do it again, and maybe I'll talk to you next time. I'm too tired tonight, though. If you come back and donate tomorrow, I'll talk to you. Kate doesn't want to be a mod, Cam. Kate does not want to be a mod. Kate does not want to be a mod. Does not want to be a mod. I get paid $20. Yes, I do get paid $20 a month for George Soros. Yes, George Soros sends me a $20 bill in the mail every month. A $20 bill. It's how I live. It's how I survive. It's how I pay my bills. Will you teach me? We definitely aren't broke, troll. Thanks for the 5. Thanks, M. Thank you so much, M. And again, thank you so much on what was it, Cash App? Thank you so much, MP. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, Kate said before. I offered Kate before because Kate's here all the time. I'll teach you if you cry. Free speech doesn't mean speech free of consequences. Scared Crow. Did someone mention Scared Crow the other day in chat? Oh no, you mentioned Raceland, I feel like. Someone did. He's gonna do a chargeback like a loser. Wait, Kyle, can you do that? Can you like... I don't think you can do that. Because I still get that. Like... I've still received it before, though. I've received it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Well, Kyle, stop giving... Kyle, stop! Kyle, stop. Stop. Don't give people ideas. Stop. Don't give people ideas, even if it is a thing. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing here.
If you worked a little harder, then you'd have a lot more. See the shame and the blame's on you for being so damn poor. It ain't the price gouging, and it ain't the inflation. It ain't everyone above you trying to make a buck from you and screwing the whole congregation. I had that reduced lunch, I had the benefit cards. Never occurred to me to blame my family on life being so damn hard. I should have paid attention back when I was in school. Then I could figure out the tax. I would know a lot of facts. I missed the class, so they taught the rules. I was memorizing capitals. I was in the spelling bee. I must have missed the part where they taught the art of private equity. I was selling chocolate bars. I had a disorder. I was cutting up a frog, got lost in the fog, learning how to play recorder. If you only worked a little harder.
Wow. Fireflies cover, please. True. Alright, guys. Have a good night. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Krusty came out with $100 super chat. I don't know why. I appreciate that. Krusty went to bed early too, but that was like at the beginning of the stream. So yeah, shout out to everyone who donated, but I don't know what Krusty... I hope Krusty's okay. Your mods banned me from donating. Will, that's not something they can do. They can't ban you from donating, Will. I don't know what you mean. That's not even a possible thing. I don't... What do you mean they banned you from donating? Like, that's not even a... You can't do that. I hope to see you tomorrow though. All right. All right, have a good night. Join Discord. See you tomorrow. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Good night.